Hello there, my name is Anita Russell and I'd like to welcome you to the Place to SOAR, where our motto is step out and redesign, and the focus is always on you. You are in for a treat today because I have a wonderful guest here. Her name is Erica Gordon, and there's a whole entire story behind how I got to know Erica. But before we jump into that, this is Gail, my co-host, Gail Talafaro. So I'm just going to jump right in, and I'm going to start by reading Erica's her bio. Her SOAR value that she chose is life transition. So we're going to talk quite a bit about that particular topic. Erica Gordon is the founder of Moms with Dreams University, the educational resource for women who desire more. She is the creative force and compiler of the Amazon bestseller, Motherhood, Dreams, and Success, You Can Have It All. The host of the popular show, Moms with Dreams, and her weekly podcast. Despite being a teen mom, Erica was determined to be more than a statistic. She persevered with her educational goals and earned her bachelor's degree in small business administration and entrepreneurship after 15 years of taking classes in between taking care of her family. She later acquired her master's degree in psychology and is a certified professional coach. All of that while going through a divorce. So Erica's got a really powerful story, a lot of lessons learned, and all of that. So welcome, Erica.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so happy. Thank you for inviting me.
Good.
Awesome.
So why don't you tell us who you are, other than, I know we got the bio stuff, but tell us who you are.
Well, I'm a woman who really just always had a dream of going to school and creating a life that I thought was magnificent, and things didn't turn out the way that I thought they would. So as you read, I was a teen mom, and that wasn't in the plan. I was supposed to go straight to college and become an attorney and be successful and all these things, but that's not the plan that God had for my life. Yes. And so I learned very early on that just because things don't happen the way we want them to doesn't mean that we should be deterred or feel as though we still can't accomplish the things that we desire. So fast forward a few years, after having my son at 17, I went to school, and I started college on time. Like, I graduated on time and was still, did well in high school, and started college. And then I met my husband, and we got married. Well, my ex-husband. We got married and had 3 beautiful children. And I thought life was great. We had everything that everyone desires to have when you're little, right? You have a nice husband, you have the home, the suburbs, the children, the house, even a little dog. We had a cockapoo named Nyla. And I thought life was good, and I thought that I was living the dream that I had for myself. But everything changed for me one day when I found out that he had been having an affair and had a daughter with a woman who was supposedly a family friend. And so it was devastating. Yeah. I tried to keep the family together. I didn't want to break up my family, and I was really committed to keeping the unit together, but it just wasn't meant to be. So ultimately we separated, and everything from there, that was the one thing, that was the experience in my life that was the hardest thing that I'd ever had to do, because we had been married for 14 years. We grew up together. I was really young when we got married, and we built this life together, and here I was betrayed and hurt by someone who I trusted, and I thought he loved me, and I shared my life with him, and we built this entire family. We had all these things together. And so it was really hard for me to get a grip on what am I going to do now as a single mother with 4 children. And at the time I was only working part-time, so I didn't have the finances I didn't feel comfortable stepping out on my own saying this is what we're going to do, and I was so afraid of making my kids suffer, like taking them through this whole process, and then their lives are torn apart. So I just had so many things going on in my mind, and I was just so scared and hurt and angry and all of these emotions. And it took a while for me to really get a grip on everything. But I remember the day vividly, like it was yesterday. I was laying in my bed, it was a Saturday morning, and I was crying as usual. And I was laying there, and even though I was sad and hurt, I was tired of feeling that way. I no longer wanted to be sad. I wanted to be happy. When I saw people who were laughing and couples who were together, I wanted that life again, and I just didn't know how to get it. And so I started talking to God, and I prayed to him, and I said, God, if you will deliver me from this darkness, this sadness, and this fear, and all of these negative feelings, I promise that I will use my story and my experiences to help other women. And it didn't happen immediately, but I felt a shift that took place after that. It was almost as if it had been raining and pouring and cloudy, and then all of a sudden I could see the sun starting to come through, shine through the clouds. And it was in that moment when I made that decision that I wanted to change and I wanted to move forward that things started to turn around for me. And so that's why I wanted to talk about life transitions today, because I feel like the one experience that I thought was going to kill me actually gave me a second chance at life.
That's fantastic.
That's
and those
awesome.
are the types of sentiments that we want to share with people, because there are hurting people out there, and there are a lot of people out there who don't know where to turn and all of that. So having gone through that experience, how did you now end up being a book author?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Once I made that decision, it seemed like everything started to fall into place. Like I had a dream of going back to school and getting my master's degree, but I just couldn't find the right time. And then I said, you know what, now is the time. Because during that process of me picking myself back up, I also had to learn who I was again, because I had completely lost my identity, being a mother, being a wife, taking care of everyone else, worrying about all the daily responsibilities that we have as women. And so I took time to really reconnect with what I wanted. And one of the things that I really wanted was to go back to school. So I went back to school in the process of going through the divorce and got my master's degree. And then I was presented with an opportunity to contribute to a book. And so I said, why not?
Yes, of course.
This is my second chance at life. Why not?
Yes.
So I contributed to that book. It became a bestseller, and then I had the opportunity to do my own book.
And what was the name of the first book?
The first book was The Missing Piece.
The Missing Piece.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like the year before I did this book, I think.
But it's interesting how, really the transition started for you when you decided that you wanted to be educated. You had to go and discover who you actually are. That was like the beginning of the whole process. And I don't know about you, but I know when I went through that process, it was like, whew, finally I know. Yes. Finally I got someplace to start, and then you just build on from there.
Blossom from
Exactly.
Going back to school is something that you've always wanted to do, and you went and did it, and then just things starting to flow. I can relate to that.
And I think it's also interesting that you ended up becoming an author as well, because one of the other SOAR values that we have is what I call the writer's edge. And really what that's about is writing your story to share with other people so that other people can learn and other people can see, when you are in that place of darkness and that place of sadness and depression, that you can work your way out. And so the writing process enables us to be able to kind of get through all of our own emotion, but then share it with other people so that they can learn something and perhaps be motivated by your experiences and your writing. So that's really cool.
Absolutely. And it took me time to get to a place where I could talk about what I had gone through.
Yes.
Because there was a period of time when I cried every time I tried to say, but before I even tried to talk about it, I was so embarrassed that I didn't want it to share. Like there was a point where I was trying to still protect my ex-husband because I didn't know if I was going to be with him still, and I didn't want people to judge me or judge him or call me stupid. So I had to build up my courage. And then once I started sharing my story, I realized the power in sharing. And so not only was it cathartic for me and helped me heal, but as you mentioned, it helped me to connect with other women who felt like they had been alone going through this, and helping them heal and relate to, I feel like I was able to restore hope by sharing my story, because they could see themselves in me. And if I could stand up and say, you know what, I was there and I am standing now, you can also do this. So.
But you're also able to share the thing that it's your past. You've experienced something in your past, and people who are physically or mentally hurting in the present can say, okay, well, she got through it. I can go through.
Absolutely.
I can go through it too. So why don't I just listen to her? And yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And I feel like we can have as many degrees as we can. You know, we can go to school and get multiple degrees and learn in classrooms and read books. But there's nothing like the personal experience. And I feel like when you stand in front of a room and you talk to women who are in pain, and they know that not only did you learn this, but you actually lived through it.
Yes.
That it inspires them and it gives them that hope, and it might just give them what they need to keep pushing to get through it. So it just became really important for me to share my story, and then to find other women who had been going through things, not necessarily divorce, but just the whole motherhood journey in itself is challenging, right?
Yes.
And there's so many things that we do as women that we do like automatically. We're on autopilot a lot with things that we do. And we inadvertently set our dreams aside because we're so busy focused on the things that we have to do, and we forget about the things that we love. So that was really a catalyst for me to really get the book out, to inspire women to dream again, that it's okay to want things for yourself, and you can still be a fabulous mom and go after your dreams without having to feel guilty.
And for me, I met you around the time when I had left corporate America. And I can remember exactly where I was in my house when I saw the message from you asking me if I wanted to participate in this book project. I was in my room sitting at my desk, and I was just like, oh my God, yes. Like before I could even think about it, I was like, yes, because I definitely wanted to, want to do something. And I used to share with people, I think there's a book inside of me. And I also looked at this as a prelude to other things that I would like to write as well. So can you describe a little bit about what that process was like for you as you were, reaching out to people, and what was it that made you select this person or that person or whatever to kind of bring the whole entire thing together?
That's a great question. It was a combination of things. You and I had met, I don't know if you remember, but I had the Moms with Dreams meetup group.
Yes.
And that's how we connected.
Yep.
And I just felt something, but like I used a lot of my intuition. Yes. When I was selecting the women. I found some of them through social media, some I had known like through my group that I had. Other women I'd known from previous things, or they might have been friends. But I really relied on my intuition, the connection I felt, and their story. And their willingness to share, because I had to coach some of them. It was really interesting. Some of them, it was their first time sharing their stories, and they didn't. They were afraid because it made them really vulnerable. The things that they were sharing, and so that experience it helped me to really see the power in sharing our stories and really getting it out there and what it can do. And so the process basically was that I used my intuition, I contacted women, I reached out, and I was stretching myself because I had never done that before. So it was a big project. I still worked my full-time job, so I was managing the full-time job, the kids. I think I was still in school at the time, and then the book project too. It was a lot.
Yes.
And there were 30 of us.
Yes.
From all over the world.
Yes.
And I haven't had the pleasure of meeting everyone yet, but I hope that one day we'll all get to come together and be in the same room and just share, the feelings and the emotions and connections.
So can you talk a little bit about your kids and how they were sort of because I'm always fascinated by what we look like through the eyes of our children, as we're, overcoming obstacles and beating those challenges and going to school. And like I got my master's degree when I was like in my 40s and things like that. So, and I can remember when I was younger, very young, with my mom, I remember watching my mother go back to school and get her GED. And that just so impacted me. And I just thought it was incredible just watching that process of her going back and accomplishing something that she really, really wanted to do. So can you talk a little bit about your kids and how they see all of the stuff that you do?
Well, it's funny. They see me differently than how I thought they see me.
Ah.
So So I'll just be completely transparent with you. I still have the mom guilt sometimes. It pops up. Like I'll feel bad because I'm doing this and I want to be with the kids. So one day I sat them down. I was like, hey guys, you know, I'm really busy. I'm doing my business and I'm writing this book and I'm doing all these things. And I just wanted to like check in with them to see where they were, to make sure that I wasn't doing too much and leaving them out. And I was like, do you guys feel like I don't spend enough time with you? And they're like, no, Mom, we're fine. Because I was on the verge of like putting everything on hold because my youngest son, Eric, was having problems in school. And of course, I took responsibility. I owned that it was my fault because I couldn't study with him all the time, you know, things like that we do.
Yes, yes.
So they're like, no, Mommy, why would you quit? You've come so far. Do
nice.
not, like, we don't want that. We don't want you to say it's our fault that you didn't finish your book and all these things. So my daughter and my oldest son, they kind of get it a little bit more than the two younger boys.
Now, what are the ages?
They're 14, 16, 17, and 23.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So at the time, this was probably 3 years ago, so they were a little bit younger. And they were like, no, Mom, we see you as an inspiration.
Oh, nice.
And we're proud of you. And it just made me cry to know that they see all that I'm doing. Because I always just feel like I'm ripping and running and juggling things, and you know, so it was really nice to hear from them how they look at me.
But see, that inspires them and lets them know that they can do anything that they set their mind to.
Absolutely.
Just by watching Mommy.
Yep.
Yeah. Just by watching
But
Mommy.
it doesn't feel like that when you're the mom, juggling everything and doing so much. It doesn't feel like that, but it's nice to know that that's really how they feel.
Yeah, and I think it also gives them the message that it's never too late. No matter what you may go through in your life, it's never too late. And that was one of the messages that I got from you when you were just sort of starting this whole thing of moms with dreams and all of that, that it's never too late. You could be 80.
Yes.
And if you have something that you want to do, you can make it happen. It might be challenging or whatever, but the possibility of making it happen is always going to be there. I think we get so caught up in age and time and all of that. But once you get to a certain point and you realize that all of that is irrelevant and it's all about just bringing out all of those gifts and all of that stuff that's inside of you, then you kind of look at it from a different perspective. So that's a very powerful message that you send to your kids as well.
And you know, and I agree totally with that, because people, first of all, we have to respect time, but we have time to do the things that we want to do in our lives. We just have to sit down and say, okay, what do I really want to do with my life?
Right.
Like first you had to have the self-discovery. I had to go through the same thing. Okay, like who is Gail?
Right.
What does Gail want? And how is Gail going to move forward from here?
Absolutely.
And once we figure that stuff out, then it's like, okay, well, let's make the plan.
Yep.
And then with the resources that's available on the internet,
Oh
it's
my
just so
gosh,
easy to just get information on how to do.
Absolutely.
You know, but we first have to figure out what we want. But it's never too late. I look at Steve Harvey. Look, his success really came after 50.
Yeah, he reinvented himself.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And my thing is that, like you said, there's so many resources, but when we step up and decide that we want to do something, the universe will always support us, right?
Yes.
It'll always meet us there. I feel like God always sends people in our lives to help us get to the next level, because sometimes what trips us up when we have these big dreams is we think about the how. Like, how am I going to do this? I'm only doing this right here. How am I going to get over here? And so when we let go of the how and just focus on what we want and just stay in action moving forward, trust and believe that you have everything you need within you already to make that dream come true, or it wouldn't be in your heart.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's
It
wonderful.
wouldn't be there.
That's wonderful.
And someone is waiting for you to get that accomplished, like with the book, being able to inspire other mothers that you can go ahead and go after your dream.
Yep.
You just have to, you know, buckle down and just figure out what it is. Because some people don't even have a clue.
And not that you can, but you need to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Because like we talked about, we're setting examples and our children are watching even when we don't think they are. Like in my case, I had no idea of their perception of me. And so we need to be careful of the examples that we set as women, as mothers, as daughters, as whomever, right? We all were put here for a purpose, and it's our job, I feel, that we need to live out that purpose.
Absolutely.
And do what we can while we're here, because yes, we have time, but we don't know tomorrow's not promised.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And so we
Yes.
can't keep making excuses and saying, oh, because I have kids, or oh, because I have this job, or oh, because my husband left me. No, you have the choice today. Make the choice and start doing something about
I
it.
see, and that's
Exactly.
why I always say I don't want to get older, have the faculties of my mind, but the limitations of my body, and have the shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Right.
I don't want that.
No, you don't.
And we don't have to have it.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the shoulda, woulda, couldas, can you tell us a little bit about some of the things? Because you've been doing some incredible things since the book came out. So can you give us a little bit of a roadmap in some of the? Because I know you have the Moms with Dreams University and
Yes.
and all kinds of. So how did you get from that book to Moms with Dreams University?
Well, let me tell you, this book, although it was such a cumbersome, huge project, it was like the gate, it opened the gates to everything else. So once I did the book and had managed 30 women all across the world and got this project to bestseller on Amazon, we hit bestseller in like 5 hours, right?
Yes. We
It
were
was
all on the
crazy, yes.
computer.
That was a good strategy the way you
Yes,
did it.
Yeah.
the collaborative marketing
Yeah,
piece.
yeah.
So yeah, once I did that and I got through that, I'm like, well, what next? And so I'm really passionate about education and learning, and I feel like there's so much power in knowledge. And so I wanted to create something as an extension of the book. I was just so passionate about helping women at that point. An extension would be helping them to now step into those dreams. And oftentimes, one of the things that holds us back is lack of knowledge, having too much knowledge, being stuck in analysis paralysis, not having the support or access to the resources. And so that's kind of where the university came from, because I was just like, well, I was really on the verge of going back to school for my PhD at that point.
Oh, okay.
And so I decided, I thought about it. I'm like, do I really want to go to school? No, let me just create a university.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's
I
kind of
like
what happened.
that. I like
That's
that.
what
So
happened.
how does Moms University,
Moms with
Moms
Dreams
with Dreams
University.
University, how does it work and how do people find you and that sort of thing?
Thank you for asking. So right now I'm actually redesigning it, restructuring the platform. Last year we ran it as a real university, but it was just online as far as having live classes taught with professors who were experts in certain areas. So we had personal development courses, business courses, whatever your desire was, you could learn personal development and professional development. This year I'm changing it up a little bit, and I'm not going to have as many live courses. I'm going to have more of like self-study online and group classes where we do like masterminds.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so the website is still there. You can take a look at the offerings. It's on momswithdreamsuniversity.com, and you can go there and check it out. But I will be like relaunching it with a new platform.
And at what point will you be relaunching it?
I would say probably springish, summer, around that time. But in the meantime, they can always connect with me through my podcast, which I'm on every week. And
so tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, I'm excited about
You're
the
doing
podcast.
all these wonderful things.
So after I did the book, I started an online radio show. And I did that for a year and decided that I really didn't like the live piece of the radio. I wanted to do something where I could go back and record it. And so I just wanted to switch up the platform, basically.
Okay.
So I started my podcast in May, and I absolutely love it. The theme is empowering women to live out their dreams in the midst of motherhood. So each week I have different guests on the show. Sometimes mostly they're mompreneurs who have businesses, or they're authors or speakers. They're just following their passion. Then I also have experts who come on and do things that support women. So it's a great show. I love it.
And how do people listen to
How
your
they
podcast?
listen?
Is there a website?
They can just go to momswithdreams.com, and it's right there. It's also on iTunes under Moms with Dreams, so you can just Google it.
Okay,
Yeah,
excellent.
It's there. It's great. I'm having so much fun with it. I'm meeting so many incredible women from all over the world. It's just so much fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So where do you see yourself like in 5 years?
In 5 years, hopefully.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Let's say
Okay.
you've been nominated for an award, and you get the notice that you actually won the award. So what are you getting the award for, and what are people saying about Erica Gordon in terms of that award?
Wow, that's a great question. So the award, they're saying how they're just inspired by my story and how genuine I am. Like, I always want to come across as being genuine, because really it's just me talking and speaking from my heart, and they're saying how grateful they are for me to step up and be courageous, because it really took a lot of courage for me to do this. Although I might look like I like the limelight, I'm really an introvert, so I really would prefer to be in the background.
Okay.
So, but I'm winning the award for empowering women and helping them live out their dreams and just go for what they want.
Excellent, excellent. So we only have like another 5 minutes or so. So I want you to do two things. Number one, what are those final words of wisdom that you want to leave with our audience? And then I want you to repeat your websites and everything, because I want to make sure that people have that information so that they can go and visit your website and listen to your podcast.
Thank you. So my parting words of wisdom are just to go for it. To know that your dreams are in your heart for a specific reason, and if they didn't belong to you, they wouldn't be there. And that now is the time, now is your time to step up and to step into your dreams. Do it even when you're afraid, because once you take that first step, everything will fall into place. You don't have to know what to do, just be willing to take the first step. And my contact information is momswithdreams.com. That's my website, momswithdreamsuniversity.com. You can also email me at erica@momswithdreams.com. And you can find me all over social media.
And you're on Facebook, right?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can find
So
me.
basically, we just Google the name Erica Gordon.
Or Moms with Dreams.
Or Moms with Dreams,
Yes.
and you'll get all the information that you need, because that's one of the things that one of my goals with what we do at the Place to Soar is to be able to make those connections outside of this program. So I want to always make sure that people know who's my guest and how can I get in touch with them and all of that. And I also have all of our guests featured on theplacetosoar.com, our website, so people can kind of go in and, oh, that Erica Gordon, let me look her up, a little bit more information about her. So Erica, I'm so thankful and so blessed that I finally got to meet you. So what the audience doesn't know is all of that stuff that Erica and I just talked about with us working on the book project together and different conference calls and all of that. This is literally the first time that we've ever actually met in person.
Yes.
So I feel so blessed. I feel like you're my sister and all of that. And this was an absolute pleasure having you be on our show.
Thank you so much. Love the book. Congratulations. Oh, she wants to say.
No,
I love the book. That's okay. I love the book, and congratulations on it, because I know it was a hard process. Whenever you're writing and coming up with a book, is a hard process.
Yes,
but it's a learning one. It's an exciting one, especially after you get it. After you get that first copy that they send to you, it's like,
oh my gosh,
Yes.
I did.
That's how I felt when we did. I was like, oh my gosh, we actually did it. We have this book.
Yes.
And when it hit international best-selling author, I was just like, oh my. And as a matter of fact, the fact that I'm here is really because of that book.
Wow.
Because around the time when we hit that got that title, we were at Art All Night. And I met a woman there by the name of Sharon, who has a show here. And so we started talking and everything, and Gail says, oh, and by the way, Anita just got her book published and everything. And so she lit up, and we were just all lit up and everything. And that's literally how I ended up here. She told me all about the studio and the people and the show. And I'm like, wow, so then we came up with the concept, and here we are like over a year later, and just continuing to do what we started off at that point. So
I love your show. Thank you so much for having me.
You're quite welcome.
Thanks for being here.
You are quite
inspiring
welcome.
others also.
Yes. Okay, so I want to thank our audience for joining us at The Place to Soar. And remember, you heard it here. You can soar as high as your heart desires. We'll see you next time. Thank you.